As the rain and wind hits the northeast of England, I've escaped to Ibiza. Let's go.
My name's Ben Chapman. I got into cycling when I was 8. My most favourite thing in the world is jumping on a train and just get off and then go ride in that area. It's just the freedom of having a bike and to go anywhere you want.
So, good afternoon and welcome back, and welcome to the beautiful island of Ibiza. The White Island. I am no stranger to Ibiza. I was coming here in my early 30s and my late 20s on a weekly basis. I would come here just for weekends to party, and it was an interesting time in my life. But this week I'm not here to party. This trip is a little bit different. In just over 9 weeks' time, we will be embarking on our biggest bike packing trip to date. So that means I need to get my body ready for fluctuating temperatures and hundreds of miles. Just over 9 weeks isn't a massive amount of time to get our bodies ready for what they're about to endure. This will definitely be my last holiday, and I'm using this time to unwind and do absolutely nothing at all, but also using this time to try and kickstart some sort of fitness plan. A few months ago, myself, Lawrence and Francis Cade took 3 aluminium bikes across Malaysia. Here's a quick reminder of what took place.
Why are we going to Malaysia? To ride bikes.
Bikepacking Malaysia was loosely planned around having as much fun as possible on affordable aluminium bikes, and that's exactly what we did. Lawrence rode a Trek Domane supplied by Team Cycles, and now Team Cycles are giving you the chance to win that exact bike Lawrence rode on that adventure. Here's Lawrence with a little bit more information on that bike.
Last minute decision to switch bikes, as you may have seen from a previous video with the demise of a wiggle. But a massive thank you to the awesome guys at Team Cycles, a bike shop in the northeast of England, who came to the rescue, sent me a bike, and just before I left to fly here, I had a day in London to get it all set up. Let me show you what happened back in London.
So here today at Bicycle Richmond with my friend Owen. Today, the purpose of this is to make this bike a little bit more comfortable, bring in the handlebars, lower the stem, put on my trusty Fulcrum wheels, and generally just make this bike ready to ride and make sure that the tail fin parts work and that it's ready to go.
We've got that Ultegra chain set going on, a slightly narrower pair of handlebars. We have also got, this is the most excited bit, a minus 17 degree stem. I've actually been able to get closer to my position here, and we've slammed this. So we've got rid of the massive stack on here. What's the next upgrade?
Bottom bracket, well, we've got to do this. Spray taper doesn't work with what we're upgrading it to.
We're getting somewhere. There we go, guys, to the bike.
For now, massive shout out to Bicycle Richmond for getting this done, and of course Owen for looking after me with the bargain bucket finds to make this thing fully fit me without all of the expense that normally goes with it.
So I found the cheapest disc brake road bike on Team Cycles, the 2024 edition Trek Domane AL2 Gen 4 road bike, and decided this bikepacking trip would be the perfect opportunity to see what it's capable of.
Full aluminium frame with a carbon fork. The rest of the bike sees an 8-speed Claris group set with an upgraded 11-speed Ultegra 5800, I think, chain set. from a few years ago. Yes, it's compatible. My full carbon Fulcrum gravel wheels with Hutchinson override tyres in 38mm, sat up tubeless of course. I've also fitted the Garmin Rally SPD pedals so that I can have power for this trip and continue my training. For the front end, we've gone for a Data Zero aluminium -17-degree stem with a matching pair of Data Zero handlebars, also aluminium. The saddle is a Pro logo with a cutout. The disc brakes are cable actuated Tektros. In terms of how it feels to ride, I've had 3 days on it so far, so I can give you my first thoughts. And it's actually fairly comfortable. It took a couple of days to get the bike fit, feeling a lot more similar to my other bike, which is important. The brakes, I will say, obviously not as good as the hydraulic disc that I'm used to. However, they do the job, and it's actually a very, very capable bike. I'm really enjoying riding it.
So you could say it's no longer a £1,000 bike, and you'd be right. All the gears, the brakes, the frame, everything else is the same. A bit of a change for me, just because I'm very lucky to have got used to top of the range carbon frame.
After a relaxing weekend in Ibiza with a little bit of running, a little bit of indoor cycling and maybe a little bit of dancing, it was time to head back to the UK and get back to work. Lawrence has had the Trek Domane for the last couple of months and he's a pretty hard guy to get hold of. The bike originally came back to the UK, he was in Girona, and a couple of weeks ago he was racing in the UK, so he dropped the bike off. And when I say Team Cycles are going to give you the opportunity to win the bike that Lawrence rode in Malaysia, it's the actual bike, it's here. It's this bike. He didn't actually use the wheels, so they're brand new. He made a couple of changes to it, like this really old Ultegra front crank. And I can only imagine he done that because it gave him more of a ratio, because he was training in Malaysia. He changed the handlebars, which we're going to keep on. He changed the stem, which we can't do anything with. And I'll explain about that later. But for now, I need to try and put this back together. Lawrence's bike came back.
It's a Trek Domane. It's one of our cheaper bikes. Still have a lot of bang for its buck. But look what he's done to it. So it's to match his, I suppose, as close to his fit and his preference as possible. So a lower, aggressive front end, which a lot of people like. But you can do that quite easily by not cutting the steerer that the chimney's got.
Lawrence has also changed the crank.
This is a 3450, but it's a square taper, and it is fairly heavy. So that could be another reason why he's changed it up. This might be a bit lighter than this setup. That's far too tight. 14 Newton meters these. 12 to 14 actually, to be precise. So it's not far off a kilo for a crankset. So you can immediately feel that this crankset is quite a bit lighter, with it being a few-year-old. So it's nearly 200 grams lighter just for that crankset, which is quite a bit older than the current one that we have on. The part numbers, yeah, 6,700s. The current Ultegra part numbers are currently at the 8,000s. So 7,000, 8,000 is quite a bit difference in the years of crank arm. There we go, so that's the bike pretty much back to normal as it was. It's a size 56, it's a great bike. It retails around about £1,000. So if you want on a bike around £1,000 with a super over-exaggerated aggressive position, this is your steed.
So the big question is, how can you get your hands on Lawrence Carpenter's bike, which he rode across Malaysia? Well, it's simple. Team Cycles over the next few months will be building their community over on their YouTube channel, but we can't do it without your help. So subscribe to the Team Cycles channel, and once we hit 500 subscribers, we'll pick a subscriber at random to post the trek to. And keep your eyes peeled because I'll be dropping some gems on there too. It's been a cracking week and an absolute pleasure to film some of the stuff that I do when I'm not riding a bike. As always, I'm going to leave this video here. Please remember to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see everyone next week.